Hey everybody, I'm going to show you a very common use case where people are wanting to create onboarding tasks for users. This could be for users, it could be for, you have a standard set of tasks or a standard set of milestones for a project, right? In any case, anytime you want to automatically create some records that are tied to that new thing that you're creating, this is a great way to do it. In this case, we're going to be using it for newly onboarded users. Maybe this is an HR portal or something, and we need them to do some onboarding tasks, but we don't want to have to go in and manually create those tasks every time we onboard somebody or every time someone joins the app. So what we're going to do is we actually have some data here with some three different tables. I have my users table. And this video kind of assumes that you know how to set up, and connect users to your Softr app already. But I have a users table here with email, name, a linked record field to a tasks table, which we'll look at in a second. I have a count field for the number of tasks that they have completed. So it's looking at the status of a task and saying, okay, is it done? If it is, count that task here. And then another one here for all tasks, right? This is just counting all of the tasks that are connected to this user. And then we have a formula field here that's just dividing the completed tasks by all of the tasks. So this will give us a number 1 or below. If it's 1, obviously they've completed all the tasks. If it's below 1, then they have not, right? And it's a good way to kind of determine even what user groups to put them in, which is helpful for showing them different blocks and permissions and things like that. In our tasks table here, we have just a name, notes, status, and user. And then we have another table here for template tasks, right? Because if you just create a list of tasks and you have a status here, anytime a person goes and tries to change that status, it's going to change it for everybody. So we need to have a separate task for every single user or for every single milestone project, right? Whatever it is that you're wanting to do. We need to have a separate one for just that thing, right? Because if they change it, it's going to change it for all of them. And we don't want that to happen. But that's the reason why we have a template tasks table, because there may be a set of standard things that we want our users to do, but we need to create their own version of that thing, right? Susie may have already watched the training video, but John has not. And so he needs his own task for watching the training video. So what we're going to do to accomplish this is we're essentially going to create some automations here. I'm going to create a trigger for when a record is created in the users table. So whenever a new user is added to that table, let's choose John, for example, we're going to do a couple of different things. One is we're going to first get the template tasks. In this case, we're going to look at the template tasks table, and instead of searching by a condition, right? You could do this if you had, different milestones based on project type, or you had, different tasks based on the contract that is being worked on, right? But in this case, we just want to get all of the onboarding tasks. So I'm just going to use a view here to get all of them. And I'll just use my kind of standard grid view. You can place a record amount limit if you want to, but let's go ahead and test this so that we can get our records here. So we've got our 4 template tasks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a repeating group. And what this is going to do is let me do specific actions for every single record that we found in the template tasks table. So I'm going to select the input list here from this find records step that we did right here. And you'll notice it says repeat for every item in this list of records that we got. So what we're going to do for every single template task is we're going to create a new record in the tasks table. And we're going to copy some of the fields from the template task into the task for just that user. So I'll copy over, say, the name, and you'll notice it says use data from the current item from that list of records. I'm going to scroll down and choose this name option here. And really the only other value in this case, the only other 2 values that we may want are just the status, right? We may want to set this to be to do automatically. And we may want to add the user here that's attached to this task. This is pretty critical. So, and we want to get that from that first step that we did here, this new user that's created. So I'm going to click on that one, and then I'm going to go in here and click on the record ID is the easiest way to link that together. So for every user that's added, we're going to get the template tasks. And then for every template task, we're going to create a new record that's tied to that user, right? So let's go ahead and generate a preview here. We'll run a test from some of our previous ones. And you can see that it created a record here. Watch the training video to do John at test, right? And if I go over to my data here, we'll go ahead and switch the automation on so we can see it. If we go over to tasks, you can see that our tasks would have been created here if that had been a live automation, obviously. So yeah, we'll go ahead and turn this on. Let's go ahead and join as a new user, or we'll add a new user here. And just go ahead and add it here just to see. The automation should be firing. You can see that it fired that automation for us, and it copied those tasks right here into this new user, right? Even before their email and their name is in here, they have tasks to complete. And then you could edit this, right within your data source, or you could even go to Softr Studio and do that. But let's go ahead and give this one a name. Maybe this is Tim at test.com. So Tim is his name, and he has all of these tasks to complete. You'll see that this is a 0 here. And if I go to Softr Studio, I have a block here that's just a list block, and it's linked to our template tasks example base. Our table is tasks, which is what we're wanting to show. And it's only supposed to show tasks that are tied to whoever the logged in user is. So if the user on the task includes exactly the logged in user's email address, we should show that task here. And so what this looks like is, if I go and preview this as Tim, you'll see that he has a Susan. Obviously, she doesn't have any onboarding tasks. We could maybe hide this block, based on a user group if she's already done everything. But if I log in as, actually, let me refresh this. Or better yet, let me go back here and we will refresh there's Tim. Okay. Let's go ahead and refresh this again now that Tim's in there. Let's preview this as Tim. And you can see that now Tim will have a bunch of onboarding tasks to do. And of course, we could add buttons to this and all that sort of stuff. But this is a great way to automate that task creation so that everybody kind of has those things assigned automatically, and you don't have to worry about creating them manually. This is a very common use case. You can do this with users. You can create milestones for projects, that are very common. And then another common question that we get sometimes is, how can I let them click on one of these to be taken somewhere, right? Maybe they need to create an account somewhere else. The simple answer to that would be to just, in your template tasks table, you could create maybe a URL field here and call this, related link or what have you. Maybe they need to get set up in an HR portal in this case. And then you would just put the related URL that they should be linked out to there. You can also use the Softr links to pages directly inside your app as well. So if you want to link them to specific pages in your own app, you can do that too. All right. Hope that was helpful for you. And yeah, happy building.